everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Peyton, and I know it's been a while. I thought I'd use this wrap up, all the books I read in August and September. I thought I would do this wrap up a little differently besides talking about the books I read, which it hasn't been a lot, and I'll go into that in a minute. But also just like a little catch up, because I haven't posted in a month. And a little like, let's just chat with some besties and... Yes, Rosie. Give you all the DL on what's been going on with my life, because it's been crazy. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's talk books and what's been going on. Let's have a moment for the nails. I did these yesterday and I'm like, oh, these might be my marathon nails, which my marathon is nearly a week away. Oh! Alright, so what's been going on with me? Everything. It's a lot. It's been a lot. Obviously, I didn't plan to, over the last few months, lose my job, get a new job, plan to move across the country, train for a marathon. I feel like I'm missing something. Sell my house. And Luke has been really busy too with the show he's in. So I obviously didn't plan for all these things to happen at once, and that's just, you know, the way life happens sometimes. It's been a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a lot for me. My mental health has not been great. So I didn't feel like posting. I started and stopped 2 separate vlogs in September that were gonna be fall related because it's my favorite season. October is my favorite. September and October I love. October primarily I love. And it was just something I needed to like not do because I didn't feel like I was in the greatest headspace to do it. I didn't feel like myself. I've had like a massive flare-up of my anxiety and depression this past month. It's just been, I don't handle stress well. I never have. Everything happening at once. Yeah, it just really got to me. I'm in a much better place now. Obviously, I'm filming and I'm okay to talk to you guys about it. But yeah, it was pretty rough there for a while. Really bad negative thoughts, really bad low energy. It was affecting my day-to-day, my mental health, my training. It was starting to affect my training, which marathon training is its own type of stress. And it was affecting my relationships with everyone around me. It just wasn't good. I haven't really read that much the past month. I read a decent amount in September, but I really haven't been reading that much. At the end of my wrap up, I'm going to talk about the books I'm currently reading because unfortunately I don't know when I'm going to be able to film and upload again until probably after we found a place to live in Portland. We're going to be in temporary housing for a bit, but I'm not going to have any of my stuff to like edit. So there might be like a little bit of a break, which makes me sad because I love doing this so much. I have loved doing this. I'm so glad all of you are here and tune in. But yeah, that's just like I just said earlier, it's just the way life happens sometimes. Yeah, but marathon training has been going well. I am actually looking forward. I wish the marathon was this weekend, honestly. I'm just ready. I'm just ready to go. I'm just ready to do it. I've heard like the marathon blues before is like you devote like months of your time, weeks of training, and like saying no to plans, getting up super early, making sure you eat enough, making sure you sleep enough. I had physical therapy too. Like it consumes your life for a while, and I'm kind of looking forward to the lull afterwards, but I think I'm probably going to be a little sad because I've kind of built my life around training the last few months. But yeah, it's been going well. I have had some crash out moments as the mileage has gotten higher. And just like I said, I wasn't sleeping. My stress was affecting it and I wasn't sleeping well. If you don't get enough rest when you're training, it like you really suffer. That's been fun, but I'm tapering right now. My last long run this weekend. I have my last long run this weekend before the marathon, which is crazy. It's crazy. And then I run the following weekend, 26.2 miles. I'm excited, but I'm very nervous, but I'm trying just to go into it and like I'm gonna do the best I can, and I want to have fun, and slow and steady wins the race. My first marathon. I don't want to be too hard on myself, even though I know I will be, because it's just how I am sometimes, but I'm gonna try to go into it mentally, like just having fun and enjoying myself. All the hard work I've done the past few months, this is my victory lap. We did go out to Portland for a week to house hunt. We didn't find the one yet, but we did find areas we really liked that reminded us of Minneapolis and what we were looking for, but we have not found the one yet. So we'll continue the search when we are there. The new job is going well. I really like my team a lot. It's definitely more fast-paced, and I feel more in my element with what I'm working on. And I'm just really excited to like be on site because I've been remote the last few weeks, and it's kind of hard just to like feel connected with the team and the work because I've been remote. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, we're gonna be driving out, like we get back from the marathon, the movers come, pack up the house, and as soon as they're done, we're leaving. We're gonna be driving obviously with the pets because we have quite a few pets, if you didn't know that about me. 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a turtle. So we're going to be driving out west. I actually think I want Luke to listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl because I think he'd really like it. He's recently gotten really into reading the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett, which I have not read, but he's really, really enjoying it. So I think he'd like Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I would love to listen to it again because it's super fun. But let's get into the books I have been reading. I'm not going to get them. I'm lazy. I'm just going to put like a picture. I'm going to talk about all the books that I haven't posted vlogs or my thoughts about yet, so we're going to start there, and then towards the end I'll talk about the books I have talked about in a vlog, which is only one vlog. Alright, the first book I did read was an audiobook, and it's only 2 hours long, and it was such a cozy little read. I actually think I might buy the audiobook because it gave me such like this cozy, hopeful feeling. It's my first time with this author. The book is The Serviceberry, Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I know this author. She has a book on my TBR called Braiding Sweetgrass. This is her newer release, and it's pretty short. It's all about looking to your community and helping your community, giving but not exactly expecting anything in return. And she talks about this gift economy. How can we learn from indigenous wisdom and the plant world to reimagine what we value most? Our economy is rooted in scarcity, competition, and the hoarding of resources, and we have surrendered our values to a system that actively harms what we love. Like, she talks about how it's crazy that we have to buy bottled water, but then our drinking water in our home faucet isn't always safe to drink, and how crazy that is. And how, like, she has a neighbor who once a year, like, without, like, payment, not expecting payment, like, opens up her farm for people to come and harvest food, and how good that makes her feel. And how, like, she meets all these people in her community, and they meet each other, and how, like, rewarding that is to just not expect anything in return. How much we need nature, and how much we need to realize how much nature gives us, because we are actively harming nature year after year with, like, climate change and mining of resources, and just more supply and demand, all that stuff. It was really, really interesting read. I really loved her thought process, how the book was structured and how it was all delivered. She's a very soothing voice if you listen to the audiobook, so that's why I'm like, I should buy it, because it was like really comforting to listen to. Like, I was just doing stuff around the house, and it just made me feel really good, and like made me think about things a little differently. Like, I love giving vegetables from my garden to my neighbors, or like making zucchini bread and giving that to neighbors and friends, and it's just something I like to do. And what other things I can do to further this idea of gift economy, and like how I can implement it in my life more. So I highly recommend the audiobook. It's a very short book if you see it. It's a very beautiful book, obviously, but highly recommend that. The next book is quite a hard left turn. I got this from the library because someone recommended it to me. I don't know if I think it was in my Disturbing Books video. Somebody recommended this book to me that it really, really messed them up. And I was like, oh, say no more. It's available at my library? Great, I'll read it. And that book is Hawk Mountain by Connor Habib. Alright, this book. One morning, a single father named Todd is playing with his son Anthony on this pretty isolated beach near his home, and there's no one around. It's miles of beach, and all of a sudden he sees this man like walking. He's like, okay, he's just walking. It's not a private beach, so like it's early, like he's just taking a walk, whatever. But then he notices that he's coming towards him and getting closer and closer, and then Todd recognizes him as his high school bully named Jack. And Jack immediately is like, oh my god, so good to see you. Wow, is this your son? Oh my god, so cool. Do you live here now? I just moved back. Do you want to grab breakfast? and do you mind if I hang out here? Do you mind if I stay in your house? And it just kind of snowballs, and it's all from Todd's perspective. So you're like, Todd's like, what the fuck? Like, does he not remember that he made my senior year like a living hell? A living hell? And he's just acting like we're the best friends ever. It really at the beginning, it really reminded me of The Gift, the movie with Jason Bateman, which actually is a really good movie. Like, I don't like Jason Bateman, but that's a really good movie. It reminded me of that beginning. And then there was a plot twist that made me feel so differently about everything about the book. And it made it more sinister, and it made it more devastating. Oof, yeah, it's very fast paced. There's a lot of talk about obsession and trauma and repressed feelings, and it got so dark. I was not expecting it to get as dark as it did. I don't know, for some reason it felt like something was missing for me by the end. Even though I love dark, disturbing reads, it just felt like it didn't, I don't know, knock it out of the park for me. Maybe it was like the writing style. But it was a good book. I was hooked. I was hooked reading it. I wanted to know what was going to happen because it was just like things go from bad to worse to really bad. And then it's just like, you end that book and you are just hollowed out. You are like empty. You are empty. It's really gruesome. I'm thinking about it now. It's like, damn, I don't know if is it categorized as horror? It is categorized as horror. Okay, horror, thriller, mystery. Yeah, really wild read. Really upsetting. I feel like I've read more disturbing books, but it was disturbing in a very unexpected way. And it's like a dual timeline, which I thought was done really well, like present day Todd and Jack, and then their senior year when they meet each other and how they interact with each other, and like the dichotomy between the two relationships when they're like that age and adults. Yeah. Oof. Woof. And then I finally read it. A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. Oh, God, I love that woman. Samantha, I want to just give you the biggest kiss. You are such a talent. You are such an amazing writer. Like, I am so immersed in her books. So this is part of the Roots of Chaos series that started with Priory of the Orange Tree, which was my favorite book last year. Day of Fallen Night is set 500 years before the events of Priory. And you're following a new cast of characters. And it's so, like, there's so much to explain and there's so much to understand that I don't know if I can describe it very well. But it's like a queer feminist fantasy. You're following female characters. I think I liked Priory just a touch more because that book knocked my socks off. But I still felt that way about A Day of Fallen Night. I like some things more about Priory, and I like some things more about A Day of Fallen Night. Her character work is exquisite. Her world building is amazing. You care so deeply for these characters and their journey. By the end, I was like, oh, God, I'm gonna cry. I feel like there are more dragons in Day of Fallen Night than there are in Priory. Like, there's a lot more dragons in this one, and a lot more of that side of the world, because if you didn't know, Priory is basically split between two different regions of this world of Innis, and then there's like the east, the west, the north, the south. And it's split between people who believe in dragons, and they're revered as gods, and they give so much to us, and they are so important to the world we live in, and like the balance of our world and the energy. And people who fear them and think they're from hell and like bring nothing but darkness and doom. So there's that, and you're following characters on either side of that coin, their own journeys, their own difficulties, their own pressures. This dealt with a lot of, but more about like motherhood, grief, and friendship, and female friendships, and destiny and fate. I thought it was more political than Priory. I feel like, me personally, I think Priory is like a better place to start, even though this is considered a prequel. I feel like Priory is a better entry to this world. Like, things are explained a little bit better. In A Day of Fallen Night, like, it is very, like, you are, even though she does the same thing in Priory, like, you are thrown in without a life raft. I feel like Priory was a little bit easier to understand and, like, not as political. But I enjoyed both. I gave this one 5 stars, just like Priory. I don't know if it's knocking my favorite books off the top yet. If I decide to do, like, a best fantasy of the year, it would be in it. Like, it was so good. Then I'm so glad I read it. It was one of my top horror books of the year. Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson. Wow, this was no notes. My type of horror, like my type of creepiness, my type of story. It's like inspired by Irish folklore, set in Ireland. At the beginning, you're following this young woman named, I'm so bad with Irish names, but Eaton. She is on her way to a Halloween party, or she's coming back home from a Halloween party. She's like newly engaged and like life's great, everything's awesome. She's gonna get out of her obsessive religious mother's home, and she loves her partner so much. On the way back home, driving late at night through these like dark country roads, there's a corpse in the middle of the road. Just this dead guy. And she was like, I just can't leave him here. And she gets pulled in the direction of this farmhouse. That starts a night of just complete horror, and it breaks her. It breaks her sanity. She is never the same after that. Flash forward 20 years later, you're introduced to another character named Betty, who is going to college in Dublin. She enters the drama society because she sees this girl named Aisling, who she is like, oh my god, I love her. Like, love at first sight. That's the reason she joins the drama club and meets Aisling, and they become like entangled, but then their relationship starts to bloom. You realize you find out who Aisling is, her family secret, her family trauma, and she's trying to unravel more and more of it as Betty is like in the passenger seat basically of all of this, watching her, and how Aisling thinks her trauma is connected to this children's TV show that she watched in her youth. And it's, I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but it has to do a lot with Irish folklore. It's so unique. It was so well done. I loved every second of it. It really got me. It creeped me the hell out. This would be an excellent movie if they ever do it. It would be so good. Such good horror. I loved it. I highly recommend it. I think it's still on Kindle Unlimited as of me posting this video. If you have it, go read it, or library, buy it, whatever. It's so good. I know he has a new book that just came out too, but I can't buy more books because I gotta ship all these books. So I can't buy any more books, but I am definitely going to pick that one up when I can. It was great. Alright, let's take another hard left turn. I read a book I was actually really looking forward to. First Time Caller by B.K. Borson, because I heard it was Sleepless in Seattle inspired, which is one of my, if not only, rom-com that I absolutely adore. I love that movie with my whole heart. And it's set in Baltimore, where I used to live. So I was like, I'm sold. So this has to do with, before I talk about how I felt about this book, this has to do with late night radio talk show host called Aidan Valentine, and he doesn't really believe in love anymore. He's really jaded. He gives like really subpar advice, and the ratings are very down on his show. Until one night, this 12-year-old girl calls in asking for help finding love for her mom named Lucy. And then Lucy gets on the phone and they start talking, and the interview like immediately goes viral, like catapults Lucy into like fame, and like everyone wants Lucy to find love. Everyone does. And Aidan gets attached to her as well, and hoping, and like they start this whole like dating thing, trying to help find Lucy a date and love. I really did not like this book. I'm sorry. I really didn't like it. I loved Lucy. I loved her. I loved everyone surrounding Lucy. I loved all the side characters. I hated Aidan. He read more like, I think they're supposed to be in their early 30s. He read more like a 22-year-old fuckboy. He was emotionally distant and unavailable and just kind of a dick. Like, there's one part where Lucy's on the show and they're talking, and this guy calls in and he said he sent her flowers. And by this point, and obviously it's not a spoiler, it's a romance book, you know, like he's the MMC. Aidan is so jealous that he's holding this pen and he snaps it. Ink goes everywhere because he can't fathom the thought of someone sending Lucy flowers. I'm sorry, I don't think that's romantic. I think that is like really childish and like scary. I thought Aidan was he gave me the ick. Like, Aidan gave me the absolute full body ick. I did not think he was good for her. I thought he read more like he was in his early 20s. His frontal lobe had not developed. He just acted like a child. And there's this other subplot of like, part of the reason Aidan is the way he is because his mom had cancer. She survived, and she's been in remission for a while. And how traumatic that was for Aidan, to the point where he doesn't even want to hang out with them anymore because he feels like oh, well, this happy feeling might not last. I'm sorry, you're a piece of shit. Like, they want you to go on a family vacation with you and you don't want to go? I'm sorry if you like this book. I really thought it completely missed the mark of what I thought it was going to be. I thought Aiden was so insufferable and icky, and Lucy was so great, and she deserved so much better than that little fuckboy. I'm sorry. And then I read the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin and immediately read The Obelisk Gate, which is book 2. So I'm only going to talk about the 5th season. It is like grimdark fantasy, and you would probably love it if you were a geology major. I really wasn't sure at the beginning. Like, the first 100 and some pages, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I like the writing style. I don't know if I really know what's really going on, but I'm so glad I stuck with it. In this world, there is something called a 5th season where the earth basically starts to break down. At the beginning of this book, another 5th season, like, in the world, like, there have been, like, countless seasons. There'd been an acid season, there'd been a rain season, there'd been a smoke season, or I'm paraphrasing. Some of them last for a year, some of them last for a decade, some of them last for 500 years. You're led to believe that at the beginning that this season is the last one. Like, the world is going to end. This is going to be the longest season, and humanity probably not survive. So you are led to believe that at the beginning, and you meet this character named Essun, who at the beginning of her book, she discovers that her husband has beaten to death her young son because of, she finds out what he is. And what he is like Essun. And what are they called? Essun is called an origin. And orogeny, they can control matter. They can manipulate the earth. Like, they can control seismic events, rock, and other natural forces. Like, they can, like, move like plates in the earth to, like, close, like, a volcano. It's seen as something very dangerous to be, because the powers can be very unpredictable, and you could hurt or kill a lot of people unintentionally, especially children, unless they are properly trained. So Essun has been keeping this secret for a really long time, and her husband discovers it and kills her son because he is displaying orogeny abilities. So that kicks off that's the first page of the book. So that kicks off the entire novel of Essun trying to find her husband, because he also kidnapped their daughter. So that starts off the whole thing. And you're also following 2 other characters. You're following this origin called Cyanide, and then a very young girl, and how all their stories collide. I thought the structure and the world building was really well done. Like, it's very post-apocalyptic. Like, the earth is dying. There is acid rain and toxic clouds, and people are, like, trying to, like, hoard resources and stockpile supplies. There's war throughout this land called the Stillness. Yeah, you're following Essun traveling throughout the Stillness to find her husband and her daughter, and the journey she takes. It's more science fiction than I would say fantasy. One of the darker fantasy reads, I'm, like, putting it up there with, like, Poppy Wars. Not the same type of deal, but it is very dark. Its themes are very dark. It's really upsetting. Like, I was getting emotional towards the end. And the Obelisk Gate, I'm not going to talk about because there's spoilers, but I liked it a teeny bit less than the 5th season. It's a teeny bit less, but I love the 5th season so much. Like, I can see why people love this series so much, because it is so well done. And I will be picking up the last season, last season. Look at the last book, The Stone Sky, very soon. The audiobooks are also very good. And then for my book club, I unfortunately had to read this book for my book club. I really didn't like this book. This one we decided to read young adult, and we picked The Grace Year by Kim Leggett. I'm very hit or miss with YA. It's not something I gravitate to read anymore, just because it is so hit or miss for me. And I was so interested at the beginning. Like, I was like, oh, I'm really gonna like this because of how the story started. The Grace Year is another one that's kind of dystopian in a different kind of way. In this world, or this county, it's called Garner County, girls are told they have the power to lure men into their beds and drive women insane with jealousy. And when they're 16, they are sent away for a year, called their Grace Year, to basically get all this magic out of them so they can come back and be married and be sweet little housewives. So sweet. So sweet and obedient and all this jazz. Also, during the grace year, the girls can be hunted because their hair, a finger, an ear, a liver, a heart can be sold on the black market for their properties, which are like age reversing, like Botox basically. Following one girl about to go on her grace year called Tyranny. And she does not want to be married. She does not want to live like her mother or her mother's mother or any of the other women in the town. She does not want that life. And she's not been looking forward to her grace year. And she's kind of been like a frustration to her mother and father because she is like this. Like, she's not very obedient. She wants to work on a farm. And apparently, and in this world, that's like the lowliest thing you can do. And I'm like, that's like, sounds amazing. I would love to work on a farm and harvest and be friends and just live my life the way I want to. And then you follow them, her and a bunch of other girls, as they go off for a year to live in the woods, basically, and get all this magic out. And it has a lot to do with like female friendships and pitting girl against girl, because it's like very catty, and it's just, I feel like the author was trying to be like, fuck the patriarchy. It just made me, it was very cringy. I feel like the book was very cringy. It had a trope I was not expecting and a twist I wasn't expecting that I don't think did anything good for the book. And I was just left like, man, I wish I could get those hours back that I read this book, because it was not good. I did not like this book at all. I don't recommend it, but maybe if you like dystopian, I just don't think it was well executed, like, at all. And it was, maybe, I don't know. I would say maybe it's because it was YA, but I don't know. It didn't necessarily read YA. It read more like an adult book. I don't even know what YA means anymore, because it kind of read like an adult book and it had like very mature themes. And I don't know what it was trying to say. Okay, and then the last thing I read that wasn't a part of a vlog was The Long Walk by Stephen King, and he's writing as Richard Bachman. And I read this in anticipation of the movie, which I still haven't seen. I've been so busy and distracted. Another dystopian, in this world there is an event called The Long Walk, where 100 boys ranging in age, usually in like their late teens, early 20s, are made to walk. They have to maintain a speed of 4 miles an hour, and the last man standing wins, and they can have whatever they want in life. Anything they want, they can have it. Anything. And you're following mainly one person named Ray Garrity, and like 99 other boys, but you're following mainly Ray Garrity and like a few other characters who are near him as they walk. And it's really harsh. Like, damn. And I think because I've been marathon training, and this was written in the 70s, and they did not have good shoes back then to run and walk in. There was like nothing. It's like, oh, I can't even imagine. But then I watch all these ultra marathon documentaries that I've been like addicted to watching. I'm like, this is probably nothing for y'all. But it is really grueling. It's really brutal, like in Stephen King fashion. I did like it. My complaint is I thought it didn't need to be 300 pages. I think it would have been an excellent novella. 300 pages, it just kind of, I was like, okay, like, and I can totally see why people thought this book was unfilmable. So that's why I am excited to see the movie, because it's gotten amazing reviews. So I'm curious to see how they pull it off. Yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it. It's another Stephen King, like, that I just end up giving 3.5 stars. Like, I haven't had a 5-star Stephen King in quite a while. I think the last book I gave 5 stars was Mr. Mercedes, and then I ended up hating the second book in that series. I don't think I'm going to finish the trilogy because I really didn't like it. The second book, I think that was the last Stephen King I gave 5 stars. So that's been like 2 years now. But yeah, liked it, didn't love it. Still gonna see the movie. The only other vlog that I have posted recently is my mother horror vlog, which I had a blast doing. I read 4 books, and it was very hit or miss. The first book that I'm just gonna get out of the way because it's probably going to be my worst book I read this year, and it's Baby Teeth by Zilja Stage. I hated this book. I thought this was hot fucking garbage. I thought this book was trash. I go into it more in the vlog, so I think I'm just gonna zoom through this. But this is about a mom and daughter. Hannah's the daughter, Suzette is the mother. They don't have a great relationship. Hannah's only 8, and she's mute. She does not speak. She's obsessed with her dad. Can't stand her mom, and she doesn't really hide it. And Suzette also doesn't really hide that she doesn't really like Hannah, and she's scared of her. And it's dual POV, so some chapters are Hannah's, some are Suzette's. Suzette trying to figure out what the hell to do with her. Like, she's gotten kicked out of every school she's in. Therapy doesn't seem to be working. Nothing seems to be working. And her behavior is escalating to, like, violence against Suzette. Suzette and her husband don't see eye to eye on Hannah's behavior. He's like, oh, she's fine. She's just expressing herself. No one gets her. And Suzette's like, no, she's fucking crazy. This bitch is crazy. And it kind of just goes from there. And it was, like, really unsatisfying ending. And just, I go into it more in the vlog, but it's just like, there's some parts that I was like, this is gross. Like, this is not good. Like, I don't know what you were trying to say with this book, but it was not good. It was not good. I hated that book. All right, and next I read The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Wow, 30 pages. See what you can do in 30 pages? Incredible. This is about, it's written in like, I think it was written in the 1800s. Yeah, that sounds right. Knowing that it had like was also inspired by the author's, like, what happened to the author, like some real life stuff that happened to the author, makes it a little more horrifying. You're following this woman through diary entries. Her husband, who's a physician, has diagnosed her with this nervous depression disorder following the birth of their baby, and he puts her up in this room with this yellow wallpaper in this decrepit house, and she's not allowed to leave. She's bedridden, like, she is taking tonics. And her diary entries, like, really catalog how it's affecting her mind and her day-to-day, and, like, this spiral into madness. And that's all I'm going to say because it's 30 pages. But it was so well done and effective and powerful, and one of the best things I've read this year. Still am thinking about it. I really loved it. I highly recommend it because it is such a short read. I highly recommend it. I think it's actually perfect for spooky season. My favorite book of that vlog was Dearest by Jackie Waters. I thought this was so excellent. And this is following Flora, who is a brand new mom. At the start of the novel, you're following her. She's had her baby, Iris, for 2 weeks. Her dad and stepmom just left. Her husband is deployed and isn't due back for another 2 weeks. So she has to survive the next 2 weeks on her own with a new baby, and how hard it is for her postpartum, like all these things. She's like, you're all in her head. She doesn't have a great relationship with her mom, who they've been estranged for quite a while, and she's just exhausted. She's just tired. She doesn't feel like she's doing anything right. Iris is crying. She just can't even have a minute to herself. She's just like totally at her wit's end. Then all of a sudden her mom shows up out of the blue, and things start to change for Flora. Things start to get really dark. And it's set in Vermont in like the late fall. Oh no! Hold on, my battery. Okay, sorry for the shift a little bit. Camera's plugged in to charge. What was I talking about? Dearest. Really, really liked it. It became really fever dreamy, if you like that in your horror. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I thought the writing style and the story worked really well for it. And the twist actually made me like the book even more. And I love when horror does that, because sometimes the twist can be really piss poor and just kill the whole book for me. But I really, really liked it. Really, really liked it. Also one of my favorite horrors I've read this year. And the last book that was mentioned in that blog, Delicate Condition by Daniel Valentine. Yes, I got all these comments. I did not know it had anything to do with American Horror Story, because I made a comment that I was like, this is very American Horror Story coded. No idea. I have not watched that show since I stopped watching after Coven, so I have no idea what anything has happened to the show or any of the storylines. So yeah, they turned Delicate Condition into a season of American Horror Story. So this is supposed to be like a feminist retelling of Rosemary's Baby, that, if you didn't know, is my favorite horror movie, or my top. Like, I love that horror movie, love the book. You're following an indie actress called Anna, who is doing this grueling IVF journey. She hasn't had any success, and finally it works. But then she starts receiving all these cryptic threats online, and she has this online stalker, someone breaking into her home and touching her or touching her belly. And this is part of the synopsis, so it's not a spoiler. She has a miscarriage, but a couple days later she can still feel the baby moving, and no one believes her. No one believes her. at all. But also, like, she becomes a lot more paranoid and a lot more scared of something happening to her baby, or someone wants to harm her or harm her baby. So it just goes more from there. And I did kind of see the twist coming. It wasn't very good. I thought it was way too long. It was over 400 pages being inside Anne's head, and it was just not what I wanted. It was like way too long, and I just thought it took forever to make a point or get to the point, and I was just like, come on, let's go. I'm tired. I don't want to read this anymore. If I wasn't reading this for a vlog, I probably would have DNF'd it. I probably should have DNF'd it because I didn't end up enjoying it. I think it took a lot of like the main plot points and some Easter eggs from Rosemary's Baby, but I don't think it set out to, I don't know what it was trying to do, but so I can't say if it was trying to do something well, but I just didn't think it was well executed. I thought it was way too long. I didn't like the writing style. I didn't really like where the story went. I thought it was really drawn out, and I thought it became really boring. So those are all the books I have been reading recently, and then I'll start talking about the books I'm currently reading. So after this was announced, I was like, I gotta read this book. I've never read it. Currently reading Wuthering Heights. Anticipation for the movie that's coming out on Valentine's Day. It's Emerald Fennell's version. Emerald Fennell did Saltburn. People have been losing their damn minds over the trailer with Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. English PhD majors are losing it because it's like all these inaccuracies and this is so horrible. Like, Bronte sisters would be rolling over in their grave. It's like, I don't really care. I don't have any ties to Wuthering Heights. I didn't read it in school. I never saw the movie. I knew vaguely what it was about. It had to do with the moors and like Heathcliff and yearning. I don't know. I am about 100 pages in, and actually I think it's really funny. I don't know, maybe because I just don't care that much, and it's just kind of funny how insufferable Heathcliff and Kathy are currently. Oh, sorry. What's this about? Wuthering Heights has to do with this romance between Kathy Linton and this gypsy boy who was brought into their family when he was like 5, and his name's Heathcliff. And he was their father's favorite, even though he had a son. Edgar? Sorry, I've only read like 100 pages, and it's been like spaced out that I've been reading it. I haven't been picking up books a lot recently. The forbidden love between Heathcliff and Kathy on the English moors is supposed to be really gothic and dark. I think I'm enjoying it. I think I'm more excited for the movie just because it's probably going to be batshit. I think people are either going to love it or hate it, just like Saltburn, and that always interests me with a movie when people are so divided over it. And I really like Saltburn a lot. I had a lot of fun with that movie. So all the visuals I've seen for Wuthering Heights, this looks so breathtaking. And Charlie XCX is doing the soundtrack, so I'm on board. I don't really care. I'm here to love, here to hate, whatever. Let's go. Reading that, I did get Samantha Shannon's new book, Among the Burning Flowers. I read the first chapter and I put it down just because, again, haven't wanted to be reading. But that takes place 2 years before the events of Priory, and it's much, much shorter. It's 200 pages, and it has a different cast of characters like her other books. So I did start that. I do want to pick it back up. Just haven't yet. What else am I reading? Oh, I'm a little nervous to talk about this book, but I have been posting about it on social media. My friend talked me into this, and I blew up my TBR to buy it and read it. I'm about 300 pages in, and man, there is quite the discourse online about this book. I really didn't know about any of it. That book is Alchemized by Sin-Lin Yu, and if you didn't know, Alchemized is a traditionally published version of a fanfic called Manacled, which I never read, even though I have it downloaded. They took it off AO3 when it was announced it was going to be traditionally published. Manacled is a Draco and Hermione fanfic. It's very long. It's 1,000 pages. Kind of reimagining of The Handmaid's Tale in that world. So obviously it's traditionally published. She had to change everything that had to do with that world. Names, the world building, I guess conflicts and everything like that. I'm enjoying it. It is incredibly dark, much darker than I thought it was going to be. So the trigger warnings are like this long. So if you are interested in it, definitely check them out because it's a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. It's very dark, grimdark war fantasy, and I don't even know how to really explain like what's going on. Just because it's a lot. I thought the beginning like it's very info dumpy, I was like, oh no, am I not gonna like this? But it's very also it became very bingeable too. So yeah, my friend talked me into it, her singing praise of it, and she really enjoyed Manacled and has really enjoyed this version. I don't have history with reading Manacled, so this is like all new to me, so I don't know the difference if besides like the name changes and like the world name changes, how much of a difference there is in it. Yeah, I am enjoying it. It's definitely the longest book I've read. This will be the longest book I read this year if I do finish it. But yeah, like I said, I haven't really been reading. I've read 300 pages of it. Currently reading those books. That's what I've been reading mostly. And yeah, like I said, the marathon's in almost a week, and then we move immediately afterwards. So there's probably going to be a break between my uploads until we find a new place to live and settled, and I can unpack my computer and edit all this stuff. So I don't really have a way to do that until we have a place to live. So I am sorry, but thank you for tuning in again and supporting me by watching and clicking like and sharing. It really means a lot. Also, another way you can support me before I forget, because I'm so bad at bringing this up. I'm running for charity in the Chicago Marathon. I'm running for an animal rescue called Live Rescue. I'm still quite a ways off from my goal for the marathon. So if you could donate, the link is down below. Any amount helps. It goes towards medicine, beds, food, surgery costs, toys, blankets, you name it. They're an amazing organization. I'm so proud to be running for them, and this cause really means a lot to me. So any amount helps if you would like to support me that way. So yeah, I'm really sad I'm gonna have even more of a break. There's already been a break because of my anxiety and mental health, but there's going to be another break. So I apologize, but thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching. Thank you so much for clicking. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll have a new video for you soon. Bye!